Welcome to Good Chats, everybody. It's Good Chats 167. And so we've got the usual crew on board, including a few members. Welcome aboard, Trevor. G'day, Steve Klink. Welcome aboard, mate. Trekker, John Wayman, welcome aboard, sir. Graham Dory, Alco Pro, welcome aboard. Dan from History Hunts, Dan Under. How you going, man? Bro, welcome on board, and Lyle's here as well. Noel bringing in the Coffs Harbour contingent tonight, and O'Malley coming to us from the O'Malley somewhere. So, yeah, here we are for Good Chats 167. Hey, yo, Dan and Amber, welcome aboard. Thanks for coming. So yeah, what have y'all been up to? Hey, I haven't changed my magic window thing because I've got still the old video from last week of the train in going over the Port Adelaide Causeway. But at any rate, we'll just let that run. I've set up heaps more stuff tonight to have a look at what's everyone been up to. Let us know in the chat so we can talk about that as we do here on Good Chats, because that's kind of what we do, is talk about history, particularly railway history and stuff. We talk about what I've been up to and what's happening. We'll run through some photos, we'll run through some history. There's always an open invite to submit stuff to me on my email address on the channel. So please send me stuff, right? I can bring up the email address for that. Where are we? Send me stuff. So we do that, and then we do that, transition that. That's the email address, folks, to send me stuff if you want to send stuff. So please feel free to do that. Okay, I can turn the makeup a bit because I have knobs to do that now, thanks to John Wayman. Work and work and work, hey, Alco Pro. Yeah, that Speedway photo was a pretty damn good photo, man. You obviously got a pretty hot camera there to capture that motion so crisply. That was an excellent photo, dude. If I was a Speedway channel, then I'd probably show it, but I'm not, so there you go. G'day Abaddon, welcome aboard. O'Malley's headed to Lake Bonnet, beautiful Lake Bonnet out there at Barmera. Beautiful country out there, although well, you actually get in just before the heat. G'day Andy Munro, welcome aboard, dude. Out there summarising the world of country football. But yeah, been hanging out down at the beach. No, that's all right. No worries. That's why I do it every week. And welcome to all the replayers if you're replaying as well, because that's always an option and always get some great comments. Max Hobby used to be around a lot on the live streams, but I see him occasionally pop up in the comments after the replays. But as I've said, you know, I leave them up for a couple of days now for the replayers, and then we push them back into members land just to try and, you know, keep the amount of random content down on the channel. I learnt that the other week, actually. I was finding that when I was searching for my own channel, often live streams would come up, and I actually really want to direct search traffic to the main videos, not to the live streams, because of course there's some pretty dubious production values going on here on a Wednesday night. Do you know what, Alco Pro? I wish I had a Canon 7D. Canon 7Ds are, you know, the range of Canons that, well, Canon cameras, they just last, mate. They just, the way they work, they just last and last and last, and the images they capture, you don't really need to upgrade too much once you've got a decent Canon, I think. Yeah, what are you up to at Lake Bonnie, O'Malley? You going skiing or something? What's the go? Tonight on the show, we'll talk about what I've been up to the last week or so. We'll talk about what you've been up to the last week or so, although we won't talk about Alco Pros too much, just work and work and work. Oh yeah, they've put up some good videos in the last few weeks. They've been hammering it a little bit. Yeah, it's good to see that they're branching out into it. I've got questions. I have lots of questions. We'll talk about the upcoming vids, and then we'll go behind the scenes, and we'll have a look at a few of the photos that I've got and I've organised for my research on the Roseworthy to Burra line, and then I've got some footage as well from the NRM, and we'll show a bit of some old footage from Roseworthy. And then we'll do a look back to one of my old videos, which is also relevant to the video I've got coming up, where I looked at the architecture of 3 stations along the Roseworthy to Burra line. And then I don't have a book of the week, but I do have some kind of history news, and maybe that'll become like a segment as we move forward into 2026. Yeah, I really do love the NRM stuff. Oh yeah, and featuring the New South Wales as well. I do love those videos, but I just really want to get my hands on them and make them entertaining. But I can only do so many things. Loxton's a nice place. I want to go back to Loxton and spend more time at the historical village. So hopefully you get a chance to go and have a cruise around there, O'Malley. Pretty cool, worth the money to go in and have a look there at the Loxton Historical Pioneer Village, I think it's called, right off the top of my head. And then, come back down the back way via Karoonda and Murray Bridge, just for something different, mate. Hello, Joe3 Haribo, sup? Abaddon, that's in my upcoming vids. So we'll get into that. So what I've been up to is research over the last week. I've decided that I am going to kind of wait out as much of the heat and as much of the hot summer as I can, and spend my time delving into the research, so that when the rains come and the weather gets a bit milder in March, I'll be able to hit the ground running with all the research done on a couple of lines that are coming up. And I started working on looking at the history of the Roseworthy to Peterborough line in more detail, and obviously, working out my timeline and things like that, so I can tell the story along a timeline and along the length of the line. And that project kind of is 2 steps forward, 1 step forward, 2 steps backwards, because I've kind of decided to make the whole thing a bit of a timeline of all the lines in the mid-north of South Australia that interacted with this line, because I'm still a bit confused sometimes as to how all of those lines, like you've got the line to Peterborough and then Burra, and that went up through Peterborough before the railway line reached Peterborough from Broken Hill. So that's interesting. I'd assumed that railway was already there, but when you start really delving into the timeline, putting it all into one piece, and things start to come together, and how all the lines interacted, across the top of York Peninsula, Snowtown, Brinkworth, Gladstone, Hamley Bridge, all of these lines sort of had a bit of an effect on the whole gravity of the way things turned out in the end. So I've started a timeline with 25 different railway lines in it, from 1856 through until the last changes, which was in the 90s. So that's become a bit of a monster project, but I've got plenty of time. Boy, it's going to be hot this weekend here in Adelaide, so it's a good time to be inside and just ticking through the sort of painstaking work that I do in animating these things. And hopefully I'll publish that as a standalone video as well, because it's a bit of a work for me to kind of practice and get my head set for the kind of narrative I'm going to do for the Roseworthy to Peterborough line, but I think it could probably end up standing on its own. The Cobdogla mini railway, we had all hoped that they would be open again, and SA Water would sort their whatever out, and give the Cobdogla railway guys access back to their railway line. And that is the problem, is SA Water just... Nobody knows why. Pig-headedness, just bureaucracy. They're not able to get access to their terminus there at the Cobdogla pumping station, which is a real crying shame. It's just just crazy, but that's just the way it is. Justin, where did you go on those? The A66 and the T-Class Heritage Service. Where was that, dude? Um, yeah, but the Cobb Dogler Railway, yeah, they eventually want to get down to the pumping station at Loveday as well. So, yeah, good luck to them, but they've got an awful long way to go. Um, so yeah, the one of the things that I have put in my timeline just to also keep me abreast of what's happening was sort of a bit of a timeline of the rise and fall of the river trade at Morgan. The river trade virtually disappeared a long time before the railway was closed. So it is interesting. Murchison East is in Victoria. Did I get that right? And will you be posting any videos of it, Justin? Send me links if you do, dude. So yeah, the upcoming videos that I'm doing all this research for is to finally do a video in my new style on the Gawler to Morgan line, and then the Roseworthy to Peterborough line, and then I'll move on back to York Peninsula and do a new video on that one. So this timeline that I'm building and is going to create into an animated video kind of thing, there's a bit of an explainer, will help me as much as I think as it will help everybody else. Yeah, Echuca would be nice to check out. My plans are starting to firm up for heading over to Victoria, probably May or June. Someone mentioned once that the Bright railway line was a beautiful railway line in autumn. Bower Boster Brick or something like that to Bright. Was a beautiful line, and those that kind of scenery in the background of an abandoned old railway, or what is now a rail trail anyway, is part of what I want to capture for my channel. So yeah, I'll probably be heading over there to do that one. But before that, yeah, we'll get a few more of these SA ones out of the way as I build them back up to the current standards. No, I didn't find my hat, Van Couple. Damn it. Mind you, it's probably time for a new one. The old olive green cap. It's probably, actually I look back on some of my videos, right, and I'm probably had it 2 years, a lot longer than I thought, which is actually a lot longer than I've owned most hats. That's kind of one of these things that I tend to lose. Got a 45 terabyte partition table on a 45 terabyte drive. Yep. Yeah, no, once I hit my limit on about 10 terabytes, I have a serious think about, well, how much stuff do I really need to keep. So yeah, it does get to that point. But good luck with your hard drive partition. I've got heaps of images of Mount Pleasant as well, so again, I am really waiting for things to cool down and for the country to green up a little bit, and probably will do an e-bike kind of thing down in Amber on the Mount Pleasant, or the Amy Gillett bike trail it is these days. I looked it up, it's about $85 I think, right off the top of my head, to hire an e-bike, and with a couple of cars we could work out a way to ride one into the other and shuttle around and make a video while we're at it, with the advantage of having these all these old pics that I've got. So yeah, that's where we're at with upcoming videos. And I talked about the plan for the next 6 months last week, so I'm not going to do that. So this is not going to be a marathon like some of the others have been. I've got a slideshow coming up, and I picked the first 3 locations from... yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it. I just want it to be a shit ton cooler. Even though it's an e-bike, I just much rather it be comfortable. So the slideshow I've got is from the National Railway Museum, thanks to Andrew. And I've collected the images from the NRM. I still got my work cut out for me in collecting images from all the other sources that I have. But we've done the NRM thing and got that out of the way. So let's have a look at a few of them. Because there's not so many of them, I actually managed to put them in order this time. Where's the slideshow? There we go. So turn that tune down a little bit. It's nice to have background tunes, but not that I have to talk over too much. So let me know if that's worked out okay. So I was interested in what remained at Roseworthy during the old days, and nowadays there's these silos, and I think there's some new silos as well, and the remains of the platform faces, or two of the platform faces, are still there. Last I was there, but it's interesting to see the buildings that were there. Roseworthy was a junction, but it wasn't really ever an important station, as you can see by the station building. And so yeah, we're going to have a look at Roseworthy, Wasleys, and then I've got to find my control for the slideshow. There it is. This was interesting. Another interesting image. This is, I don't know the name of the road right now, but it's the road that goes from Roseworthy to Redbanks, I think. So that railway crossing is still there, and I could probably actually get a shot that's on the same angle. And so that signal gantry is something that is really interesting and lends itself to the history. Let's see if I can find some dates on this in the file. Roseworthy, 1991 that was. That would have been in some of the last days for Roseworthy, that's for sure. And we have another 1991 image, I think, coming up. So you see that really common stone building that's virtually built to a pattern, and you'll see that appear along basically all of the stations around the region that had goods sheds. They will look an awful lot like this one. G'day Clayton, welcome aboard. I'm not sure how much detail I want to go into Roseworthy on its own, because if you're talking about Bob Sampson or Bob someone else, I am so totally not an expert on each individual station. I haven't really gone into the story of Roseworthy, and there's not an awful lot without, I guess, speaking to people and diving a little bit deeper into each one. But I'll end up with a freaking 5-hour video if I get too far into it. You never know. Some of these locations I managed to find an angle in, because I don't have access to everything, but sometimes I feel like I'm sort of still a little bit outside all that in-depth knowledge, and occasionally I crack a vein of information that'll take me a little bit deeper, or while I'm there'll be more to see, and I may publish that as a separate video. There's that train again, coming through that railway crossing under that gantry. And so when I thought that, I was looking at these, and I think there's a good chance that I can get a similar image, and just with the backdrop of those silos there, you're at Roseworthy between the new and the old footage. Where are we now? Sorry. Okay, so when is this? Actually, this doesn't have a date, and it's marked as Roseworthy. And I'm just a little bit confused because Roseworthy had really basic buildings, so in 1990, so they must have, and this is the kind of research, I guess, that I really need to get into the nitty gritty of, and this is kind of stuff that I put together that takes so bloody long. Can you see the sign? Oh yeah, on the right there. So we're obviously, and that signal gantry, so that gives me some links. We're looking southwest at that point in time, perhaps. And it obviously had a very similar building to all of those other ones, which may have been added on at some stage. But that had certainly disappeared by the 1991 images. And this changes kind of things as well. I mean, I can't see the silos there, so I'm wondering whether we're looking north or south. Oh, thanks, Clayton. So I wonder where the silos have gone. If that's because that's where I thought the station would be. Maybe the silos are kind of hiding down behind the station there. Or maybe the silos as they are today weren't there when this photo was taken, but I don't have a date in the metadata on this photo, unfortunately. So I'll have to do a bit of digging around. Although, if anyone, this is why I do the slideshows sometimes, because you guys help me out. So I probably would have thought I was sort of thinking I'm looking south, but now you guys are telling me I'm looking north. And I'm kind of looking at a big version of the image on my other computer here. So yeah, thanks Graham, appreciate that. I'll have to ask the internet and ask around people a little bit more as to perhaps what date this was, or roughly what year it was that the stone buildings survived until they were replaced by the crappy buildings that you see in 1991. Hello, Trains with Mini official, welcome aboard, thanks for commenting. Yeah, apparently it's looking north. Where do we go now? We're at Roseworthy again, and another interesting old photo. Probably do some work with the colour on that one, but that's 1967, that one. So that would have been a tourist special of some description in 1967. That old goods shed's still there. Shame I can't kind of link it with the other one. And let's go to the next one. What am I doing with this screen? Why am I on this screen? No. That. Here we are at Roseworthy again. Jumping around in dates a little bit. 2000. Not long before the end in 2007. If my memory serves. And next we're going to go to Wasleys. Wasleys had a really big platform. The platform face that still remains at Wasleys is huge. There's no remains of the old goods platform. And there's one of the boring old wooden buildings that used to be prolific in the 80s and 90s, as far as I know. This is going way back. The reason I chose this is because that building is still there in Wasleys, over the other side of the crossing, if I remember correctly. Again, I'm going to stop saying that. That is in the 1940s, that one with the railway crossing and the building behind it. So it'll be interesting to see when I get back out there if I can get on the same angle and check that out there. The next Wasleys photo is oh no, I missed it. I don't have that photo on there, 1965. Oh well, bugger it, you missed it. So we're obviously moving on to Hamley Bridge. This is the new bridge at Hamley Bridge. There was an older bridge at Hamley Bridge, which I've got some images of from the State Library. And let me see, what's the date on this one? Sadly, does not have a date. SAR 522 and steel cars on the Light River Bridge. This is a huge bridge, this one. This is a great photographic subject. Those of y'all who know the history know that, yeah, it's an excellent bridge to photograph. It'd be bloody brilliant if we could still get trains across there. But as I move through the research and as I move through my timeline, I'll start to fill in the blanks on, you know, when the last train was across this bridge, for example. Well, there's the Wassley's 1965 photo. Whoops. Let's look at that. That's a pretty damn good photo for 1965, I have to say. I guess by 1965 these would have been tour specials. I'm not sure how many. I'm not sure that there were any regular services run by Steam still in 1965, but hey, please feel free to correct me. Oh, you're looking back that one, Noel? Yeah. I guess they're just doing what they gotta do, man. Or maybe the telegraph pole... Oh, no, actually, no, it goes under the bridge there. That's kind of interesting. Well spotted. Well spotted, gentlemen. But in order to keep things moving so that we're not the single photo of the Light River Bridge stream... You got to be careful, Dan. That one's structurally unsound. Okay, now we're in Hamley Bridge, right? You've got the signal box on the left there. You've got the platform. Some of that platform and some of that shelter still remains, but it's part of private property now. So if you ever want to have a look inside the Hamley Bridge railway station, just look it up on realestate.com. And you'll be able to check out the interior as it looks as of last year. I think it might have sold, but the listing is still up there. Hamley Bridge was huge for many years as a break of gauge, and it certainly does, doesn't it? It certainly does. I'm looking. I have seen like a yard layout of Hamley Bridge somewhere, and I would like to find that again for free if I can, just to really understand that, because yeah, it was a transshipment yard for a while at a breaker gauge. But I don't want to tell too much of the story here because I'll stuff it up. That's why I do it in videos. This is a bit further up the same platform, looking north towards the sheds there. You gotta live a little. Why do you have ads on Alive Trains with Many Official? Because I put ads on it. Because these streams do take a bit of work and a bit of preparation and a bit of time. So it's only fair that I get like $2.50 or something is pretty much what I get for it these days. But yeah, it's only fair. And the channel itself has ads all over it. I tried not to put ads on live streams for ages, especially for the first few years when it's basically just me plonking myself in front of a computer at 8:15 and talking crap for half an hour. But these days, some work goes into putting it on. So yeah, it's only fair that I do that. And maybe the members aren't getting ads. I don't know. I really didn't want the members to get ads. Perhaps even if, for example, I was to get to the point where, I've got heaps and heaps of members, then that's great. I might turn them off. But that's good to know, folks. Though, yeah, exactly, Graham. Now I can talk crap for an hour and a half. Oh, g'day, Farmer PJ. Welcome aboard. And if anybody doesn't have YouTube Premium, then I really do recommend you get YouTube Premium. YouTube Premium is bloody brilliant. When I sit down on somebody else's computer and open up YouTube and I get an ad, and I'm like, what the? Because it's been that long since I've had ads on YouTube. And also, I have to say as well, I've gained another. Well, we gained 3 members last week. We gained another member this week. Thanks to hello to Baltrop, if you're out there, for becoming a member this week. It's just I've just got the one level at $4, and it really does help me make what I do an enjoyable job, the one that I don't have to do for free, right? And so thank you to everybody. What do you get for becoming a member? You get those little badges there, like Noel and Alco Pro, and the Van Couple. Graham Dory's got one as well. Thanks for joining up last week. Justin's Train Journeys likewise joined up last week. Thanks, man. And John Wayman as well, and also donated some awesome gear as well. So, you know, memberships have helped me. They're one of the reasons that I was able to go down and do the Glencoe video a couple of weeks ago. And memberships are the reason that I can essentially start planning things 4 to 6 months in advance now. And do a bit more work in the background on each of them. So I'm not just, you know, making random videos because I don't think I'm going to get anywhere. This channel's really going places now. And in addition to the Facebook page, I'm all in on this, so it really would help if people become a member. So thank you to all of you guys who have become members. I do exclusive member videos from time to time, but I've got to stress that the main ethos of the channel, and always will be, that my main videos will be free, and I really want to make members only videos more meaningful. You know, I don't want to just have a video that I give you 24 hours access to early than the rest of the world, because that's not really very special, right? I won't release that video. I won't release that video to anyone else if I'm going to make it a members only. And also it gives me a place to archive some of the best of the good chats as well, because generally the members are the most interactive people here on good chats, and they're part of the reason why I'm still doing good chats 3.5 years later. Memberships for your channel, well, they're easily made once you get to 1,000 subscribers and your channel has been accepted into the partner program, and then you can set up your memberships, or you'll be invited by YouTube to set up your memberships and go through the process there. So more importantly for everybody, how do you join the channel? Well, you will find the button, hopefully I get it right, you will find the button down there when it says join the channel. And so, yeah, you just hit that up, and then, you know, yeah. Ooh, look at this. Oh, Alco Pro, thank you. And that is just demonstrating as well that you can also gift memberships as well. So if you're a member, you can send memberships to people as well, which do help support the creator. So that's in addition to also the ads that I put on the channel as well. And then also YouTube Premium. Another reason why YouTube Premium is good is not only do you not get ads, but the people whose videos you watch still get paid. And at a certain point, you know, people do deserve to get paid for their work, you know. So there's been an awful lot of work gone into this channel. Subscribers are just as important too. I want to stress that as well, and I want to stress to all of the supporters that have been supporting my channel, and all the people that have been here from the beginning, like Steve Klink. I think, Steve, you've missed like 1 good chats out of 167. I think you probably missed less good chats than I have. What else? I noticed also that Jeremy's not here tonight. He's a member. That's nearly 2 weeks in a row that he's probably forgotten. Subscribing is absolutely free, and it's bloody brilliant as well. So if you subscribe, then please make sure, and this is another thing with YouTube as well, you want to make sure that you hit the notification bell. So when you go to subscribe, there'll be another two options, and you can go back into your subscriptions as well and actually update them as well. I think my sort of notification thing sort of sits around about the bottom end of YouTube's average of how many subscribers have hit that notification bell, so they get notified. So it's all good. Trains with Mini, not a problem as well. You know what? Justin's Train Video Patreon has always sort of been around, but I just watched, I don't know, I mean, I don't want to be harsh, but I just watched too many people who weren't making anything worthwhile, and that's a highly subjective thing to say, but and then encouraging everybody to sign up to a Patreon, and I'm thinking to myself, that seems remarkably sort of, I don't know, it's kind of shoehorning something into something that shouldn't be here, so shouldn't be there. So thank God that, you know, YouTube's got it set up so that memberships can work now. You know, previously people were, you know, saying come and support me on my Patreon and stuff. And I'm like, well, yeah, no, dude, you got to put some hard yards in before gonna sort of monetize you. You know, if YouTube or Facebook or whatever isn't going to put ads on your channel, then yeah, I'm not really sure why I'd be wanting to pay for that. And so that's why, you know, I treat the memberships here on my channel really seriously, because, you know, this is an investment, right, that, you know, people don't have to make, that people don't have to make. So, you know, it's really, really important to me. I'm really well aware of it. Good old Google AdSense, all right? So I get it, right? Okay. It's interesting. I went back to, I was monetized on, I've been monetized on Google AdSense for ages, and used to run ads on my website at outdoorstype.com.au, and that started to go really well. But then I pulled back from that because I wanted my website to be, here I am sitting on a photo at the moment, because I wanted my website to be more of a portfolio piece. So I got rid of the ads. A year later, I went to put the ads back on, and Google AdSense told me that my content wasn't high value enough. And I'm like, dude, have you seen my YouTube? But yeah, I would do me personally, I would do everything I can to avoid Patreon. Yeah. Just another sort of grindy step in the process. And let's face it, YouTube has the biggest audience in the world, I think, last time I checked, or it's, you know, very close between the likes of TikTok and YouTube and Facebook. But last that I can remember, YouTube will reach the widest audience. I'm not sure. We won't go into Patreon and all the details of all that. We'll do that on another coaching session or something. I don't know. Here we go. So we're back in Wosley's again. We'll do the last couple of photos of Wosley's. Hey, JK. Did you miss much? It's 8:56, dude. That's all right. You can always replay it, brother. And here again, the station, we're looking at the station yards. There's really not much on the station. So I'll have a bit of a squiz around the front of the station at Wosley's and use some of the images from realestate.com. Whoops, I meant Hamley Bridge. Here's something that's looking straight at the station building and the platform. And the signal box, which is, I think, still there. I thought it wasn't there, but apparently it's still there. But it's been all covered up. So it's going to be interesting to go back to Hamley Bridge and have a real dig around. Do you know what, JK? I actually thought that last night. I thought it was about 8 o'clock, and I thought, oh, bugger, I'm going to miss my live stream. Oh, no, it's Tuesday. I'm kind of scared that one day I'll miss my own live stream. Wosley's, I think they're looking at maybe getting a train back to Roseworthy at this point in time. When they're talking about getting railway through to the Barossa, they were talking about getting a train through to Concordia and then back to, so they've preserved the rail corridors. Yay, they've put a red line on a map and said we're going to preserve the corridors. Big news. Guess what? They're still there. So they've done that. I think I read somewhere as well that if they were trying to get a railway to serve the new suburb of Concordia, it might actually make more sense to extend the railway from Roseworthy through to Concordia than actually have it cross Murray Street in Gawler and run up through Calby, but won't even run that far. So yeah, when they're talking about the planning of Concordia and putting the railway there, do they put the railway at the southern end of the development, or do they run it via Roseworthy and put it at the northern end of the development and just kick the whole how do we cross Murray Street can down the road a bit longer? So there's a bit of rail history news for you. Yeah, well, at least you get weekends. When you do what I do, you kind of either working hard or hardly working, and you never really know which one. Right, so we are at 8:58 p.m. It's 45 minutes, and we're into the slideshow. What I'm going to do is we're going to take a little break. I need a break, and then we'll look at an old video that I've got of Roseworthy. The video, what was that video? That was Steam Ranger test run to Roseworthy in 1986, and so we'll do that after I take a bit of a break, right? So I've got to do a couple of things to get the break right here. I've got to do the start break here, and then I've done the start break, and then I go to the YouTube break and put on. Okay, should be back from break now, so hopefully that worked that time. I didn't turn the music up, sorry about that. Justin's trains journey, the steamer I got, I wished I lived over that way sometimes. Over in Victoria, New South Wales, and basically everywhere, they seem to have so many heritage rail trips. And here in South Australia, I won't say sadly limited to, but we are limited to things like the Pitchy Ritchie and Steam Ranger, which are flat out doing their best, keeping their railways in a slower state of decay than they otherwise would be. But thanks to the National Railway Museum, now we're going to go to the video 1, which I think has sound. We'll find out in a minute. Yeah, well, I guess you would be. I'll go pro. There we go. Wearing his safety gear. He's got his safety shorts on. And here comes the man in the app. He's like, "Oi, you! You're not wearing your high vis vest." He's like, "Mate, I got my safety shorts on." Well, better grab his lunch. Now he's like, "I've got the safety shorts here. Now just pull that plug there and you'll be right, mate." Yeah, just like me, Justin's got the safety gut. Will bounce off anything, mate. Maybe even a 900 class. They're like, "We'll see ya. Have fun getting back. We're going to Wasleys." I always find it interesting in all these photos and all these videos of the railfan trips, just how everyone kind of crams in around the train. Like, it would be an absolute safety nightmare for people like ARTC and all these other things going on. Like, all these people just standing around the train. Oh, look, there's someone actually doing some work as well, loading the grain. But I like mixing these videos into my videos because they capture the sound of an era as well, which I want to work more on in these videos, capturing the real sounds of the eras as well. You would have noticed I started to work a little bit more on that in the Port Adelaide video, and real sound will become a more permanent layer of what I do. I am looking for more footage of the Roseworthy to Peterborough line. Unfortunately, this is pretty much the only footage I've got at this stage. I've got some footage of Morgan. I've got some footage of the Copper Coast. I'm going to redo Sander Grove to Malang at some point, so I've got some footage of that. And I got some footage out at Karoonda. So if anyone knows of any footage out there, let me know. Oh, thanks, Noel. Back when people were bubble wrapped. Yeah, right. Weren't bubble wrapped. Yeah, right. I know, right? Everyone's just hanging about as the train goes past. Just all over the joint. Yeah, thanks, Noel. So I would like to get more footage. Does anyone know who the YouTube user Adnorak is? ADNOORAK. Not hard to work out that that's Karoonda spelled backwards. But there is a YouTube user called Adnorak out there. And they've published some excellent videos, but I don't have any contact details on their YouTube channel, so I'm unable to reach out to them. So if anyone knows who Adnorak is, that would be brilliant. I need to get in touch with him, or them, or they, because they have some excellent footage of some of these lines that I'm planning to cover. Also wondered if John Wayman might have had any as well, of the particularly this one as well. And I've reached out to people like Adrian Maggs as well. And he's going to let me use some of his videos, but I also need to find, his images, but I also need to find out if he's got some videos as well, because I really do want to take it to the next level. Adnorak, yeah, is spelt with a K. It's literally Karoonda backwards. Okay, there we go. We're looping again now. We're in some strange time warp where Safety Short Man is being admonished by a man with the hat. So we shall go back to where we were. Okay, so here we are back here again. And I'm going to do the last video. Roseworthy vid, Gordon and Morgan. That's right. And I was going to do the video that I did on Marildan, Menorah, and Tarlee, but that's, now I'm starting to realise that Roseworthy, Saddleworth, I'm looking at all of these old buildings, and they were all built to the same Menorah style pattern. So let's have a bit of a look at the dive I did into that a while ago. Let me just cue that up. Welcome back to Here we go. In this video, we're going to take a closer look at 3 stations that still remain on the Roseworthy to Burra line. Tarlee, Menorah and Marildan all share the same architectural style. Let's find out more. The broad gauge Burra line opened from Roseworthy to Tarlee in 1869. The existing Tarlee railway station was built in 1898. It's named after Tralee in County Kerry, Ireland, and the station included a main building, goods shed, loading crane, stockyards, and station master's residence. Transferred to Australian National in 1978, the station ceased regular use in 1986, but was occasionally used for tours until 2004. Australian Southern Railway acquired it in 1987, and the last grain trains used Tarlee's silos in 2005. They're now owned by One Rail Australia, including the station and the railway line remnants. I've done so much work along this line that I do have a lot of footage already, but it'll still take me a couple of trips to get new footage and put it all together into a different story. I don't know why I was still so crap at titles last year. In 1898 as well, and the story is much the same as the nearby stations. The Borough Line is just about to head north out of the Gilbert Valley now and into the Wakefield River catchment. You know, I read yesterday, John, that Tralee was probably named so because of a typo from the word Tralee. Who said it? John Wilson in the Rails to the Borough actually describes Tralee as being perhaps a corruption of the local word, the native word for the area, Taralee, which I thought was interesting and then you look it up and that was the word for the area. So now we've got two stories as to the origin of the name of Tralee. The old Tailem Bend Roundhouse. I hope to get a tour of the inside of this station in the next few months. Marilden Station opened in 1870. The goods shed was built in 1873, and the Bluestone Station building we see today opened in 1899 with its wrought iron veranda. And I see the errors in this. I stuffed up the frame rate. Farrell Flat and other stations. And once, you know, like it is when you've created your own work of art or done your own thing, and you can always see the errors in it. Other people maybe can't, but I can definitely see the errors in it, and I need to go back and film it again. Even though it was 3 miles from the village of Mintaro. The station was renamed Marilden in 1917. Regular passenger trains stopped in 1986, although special tours continued until 1992. The station was heritage listed in 1984. I love design. It's one of the reasons I explore, so it's interesting to note that these stations are basically identical, even down to the palm trees. Saddleworth was another station in the same style but's now gone, and a few of the other stations share the same architectural style and are now private residences. What was this style? The best reference I could find was in a document about Alfred McBain Benithan and his revolutionary designs of the Moonta station and others around the state. It mentions that this long outmoded menorah-style design was preferred as late as 1912 for Tanunda on the Barossa Valley line. If you did like the video, then give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Well, that's it for that video, and that's nearly about it for Good Chats 167 tonight. Yes, and the Marilden station building and goods shed are heritage listed. I had a good chat with the owner the other week. I've had a couple of good chats, actually, and hopefully I'll be getting a tour from him when I head up there next. And he's pretty feisty because he's used to people coming out and saying, you know, it's just left to rot and why aren't people doing more about it and stuff. And he said it's because of the heritage listing and because of the way the council treats the heritage listing. Has found it basically impossible to get anywhere in terms of restoring the building. He said they went ahead anyway and put some new roofing on the building. They re-roofed the goods shed, and not long after they re-roofed, or they put on some temporary roofing onto the station building and strapped it down. Somebody came and stole the straps. So, yeah, it is sad, but the bloke who owns it has worked his ass off to try and get something done there and just ran into brick walls and red tape left, right and centre. And so ironically, it's like a lot of these things, the heritage listing actually may prevent it from being saved. That is the bureaucracy we live in these days, and I don't comment too much on that. You won't hear me talk about politics here on Good Chats. So thank you for everybody for coming on board tonight, and not talking about the politics. It's really refreshing to have a forum when we can talk about history and railway history without all the argy-bargy, essentially, and just celebrate what we've got, and make the most of what we've got for as long as we can, because the railway ain't coming back anytime soon. So Trevor Fuss, thanks for coming on board. Steve Klink, thank you for coming on board, sir. John Wayman, one of the channel members, thank you. Alco Pro, also an awesome channel member. Graham Dory, also a channel member from last week, thank you. History Hunter Dan Under, go check out History Hunter Dan Under's channel. Bro, thank you for coming on board. Lyle, thank you as always. Noel from Coffs Harbour, always remember our chat sitting on the dock of the bay there, talking about life and love and railways. O'Malley Tours, thanks for coming on board. Have fun at Lake Bonnet. Hope you enjoyed the sunset, Graham. Dan, Amber and Archer, thanks for coming on board, guys. Abaddon, thank you for coming on board. Andy Munro from Munro Jumpers, or go check out Andy Munro's channel also on Facebook and on YouTube. Excellent stuff. Joe3 Haribo, hi, bye. Justin's Train Journeys, also a new member. Thank you, man. Thank you for coming on board. And Justin's Trains Journeys has a YouTube channel as well. I encourage you all to go and check that out and subscribe. He's right into the steam rail and trains things in New South Wales. I've been checking him out lately and does some good stuff. Who else have we had on board? We have had Clayton Moody. You're a great supporter, Clayton. Thank you for coming on board. You've always got some excellent information to help me with as well. Trains with Minnie was here and it's gone. Good night. Farmer PJ, thank you for coming on board, man. Thanks for doing the gift membership as well, folks. So I'd encourage everybody to join and help me out, and gift memberships, because that helps me out as well. JK made it on board as well, so hopefully we'll see you next Tuesday. Joking. Who else have we had on board the stream tonight? Yeah, thanks to all the subscribers and members that we haven't seen for a couple of weeks as well, like Luke's Fishing. We haven't seen him for a while. I bet he'd be surprised. Roger Hill, John Woodall, who's probably flying a plane somewhere, Nico Kaznick, Andrew Top. Come hither with Heather and Drew. We haven't seen you guys tonight either, but hopefully you're cool out there. Matthew Mazzarotti, Zach, Smart as Marbles, haven't seen him tonight. And Travis, Simon and Phil and Andrew, they've all been kind of just low-key. Andrew Munro sends me some messages from time to time. Dear. No, that was just, two old blokes sitting on the jetty talking about life. So yeah, that was good fun that afternoon. So next week we'll be back in the studio again. I'll bring a few more photos from the Roseworthy to Peterborough line, and perhaps I'll have something of this upcoming grand animation where I unpack all the Mid-North lines in one animation. Hopefully I'll have something to show you next week. Who was that did New South Wales stuff? I don't actually know the guy. It was Ray Ziffer or something that did the New South Wales stuff on the National Railway Museum channel. I don't think I know the guy. I know a guy called Ray, yeah. It's a tough one when I go down to the National Railway Museum because, and got other good news, the Port Lines video will be available soon in the theatre down at the National Railway Museum. So it's interesting because these videos are on autoplay permanently all the time down at the National Railway Museum. So everybody there knows who I am, and I'm still struggling to catch up with who everybody down there is. It's interesting. It wouldn't have been one of the members. Who does New South Wales stuff? Oh no, you do New South Wales stuff. That's the one I was talking about. Go to your channel, Alco Pro. Sorry, go to. I'm confused now. So, in answer to your question, Alco Pro, Justin's Train Journeys. Go and have a look. He's a member. You can find him in the chat and go check out his profile there and have a look at some of the videos that he's been doing. I think that's about it. So I'm going to tie it up now. Until next week at 8:15. We'll see you then for Good Chats 168.